Hey, Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Today I'm going to show you how to build a really cool stackable storage bench out of some pallet crates that I'll show you how to build. So check this out. This is a really cool project. Alright, so here's what I'm using to build this project. It's some pallet wood that I found on the side of the road. I'll see if I can find a picture of what it looked like when I brought it home. It was a really weird find because they were unusual shaped pallets that were painted for like a really sketchy looking preschool. So I guess their business went under or something. They got rid of their signs, or they got better signs. So I was able to throw all this stuff into the back of my van and bring it home. But anyway, you can see it's super bright primary colors. It's a little too in your face. So what I'm going to do is sand these down so there's just a hint of color on them. I think it'll look a lot better, kind of like my pallet wood paint trick video. If you haven't seen that, it'd be kind of a similar thing to that. And then these raw pallet wood pieces over here, I'll just leave alone. So basically these are 24 inches long, so these would be my long side of each of the little crate that I build. And these here I'll chop down so they make up the short side. So my long side would be 24 inches long and my short sides would be 16 inches long. But these boards are 1/2 inch thick, and there's going to be 2 per side, so that's 1 inch, so I only have to cut these down to 15 inches. Now the other thing is that these boards are a little bit wider than these over here, like, you know, this way. So I'm gonna find my narrowest board here and set my table saw to that width, and then I'll run every board through there so that they're all exactly the same width. So I'll just trim a little bit off of each one. Then they should all line up real nice. All right, now the other thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cheat just a little bit, and the sides of each of these little crates I'm gonna build will be the pallet wood, but then for the base, instead of running a bunch of slats underneath, I'm just gonna use some of this 1/2 inch plywood that I have. And although it is super bright compared to the rest of this wood, I will probably do like a distress paint job or something on there so it blends in. So I'll just go ahead and get started and get everything chopped down and get this going. All right, and here's what I did with the rest of that pallet wood that I picked up. I turned it into a little bit heavier duty outdoor work surface compared to that warped junky particle board thing I've had out here for years. So anyway, now that all of my boards are trimmed down to the same width, which I think ended up being about 3 1/8 inches, I'm going to cut down the raw boards to 15 inches. So I will measure and mark them and then get them all chopped down. And then I will go through and sand all of my boards and round off all the edges as well and get them ready. Alright, so I have all the pallet wood pieces cut and sanded smooth, all the edges rounded over so they look really nice. So now what I need to do is cut all of my plywood bases. Now since I want the exterior of each of my little boxes to be 24 by 16, and since all of this pallet wood is 1/2 inch thick, that means that my inner plywood base needs to be 1 inch smaller in all dimensions. So I'm going to cut it at 15 by 23. So I'll cut a couple of those out and get that done. Alright, so check it out. I got everything cut out and just kind of laying here for pre-assembly to make sure it all fits. Looks pretty good. So I think what I'm going to do now is I want to dress up the plywood bases a little bit. So I think I'm going to do a distressed silver paint job on them just to add a little extra detail. And then the other thing I need to do is on all of the short sides, I want to cut out some handles for them. So I'll drill a couple holes and then use my jigsaw to cut the little, the length of it. So I'll do all of that next. Alright, and just in case you didn't quite understand what I did there, if you remember, my side pieces are 15 inches, so I found center at 7.5. Then I went 2 inches on either side, so at 5.5 there and 9.5 over here. Alright, so then I drew those tick marks and I joined them with a line here. Then I measured down that line 1.5 inches, okay? So I come down there because my piece is about 3 inches wide, so I wanted to go pretty much towards the center. Then what I'm going to do next is take this 1.25 inch hole saw bit, and I'm going to center it right over there, so it's going to, you know, it's going to drill around there and over here, and then I'll join the top and the bottom with some lines and then cut those out, and I have a nice handle to hold. And then all I gotta do is probably just file the edges just a little bit to smooth it out, and it'll be ready to go. Alright, so check it out. I got everything chopped up and ready to go. So now I'm going to assemble. Should be really simple. I'll just add a little glue along the bottom here and then pop in a few nails. Now I'll do the same thing where all the butt joints meet as well. Also, you probably noticed that my color is facing just one side. That's just a little design feature I want to try out and see how it looks when it's finished. But you can put your pallet wood however you want. So anyway, I'll go ahead and assemble real quick, and then I'll show you a couple other finishing steps I need to do after that. Alright, so check it out. They're all assembled now. I just got them loosely stacked together so you can get a rough idea of what I'm doing here. So now maybe I can kind of explain my color scheme here. I decided that on each of these trays that the color would face one side. So like this one, the red's facing this way, and then on the inside here it is yellow facing there. Here, I'll flip it around real quick. You can see on that side it's just raw wood. Okay? And the same thing on this one. You just see raw wood facing this way, but this is the blue and the green. Then what I did was same thing. This one is also red and yellow, but I reversed it. So now this time the yellow is facing out and the red's facing in. And then if I spin it around, you can see what we have going on here. We have the blue facing out with the green facing in, and then the same thing here, green facing out, blue facing in. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting because I thought that if all of the color was facing out, it might be a bit much. I thought this would be a way to tone it down. Okay, so anyway, now what I got to do is figure out how to keep them from shifting around, because right now they are all loose. So you don't want to just stack them and then sit on them, whatever. So I'm actually going to put some little stops underneath, basically, to keep them in position. So I'll show you that. They're real simple.